Well, life for none of us has been a crystal stair, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
Now, that's a description of the system. Was anybody actually cruel to you or violent to you because you were colored?
Yes, we did confront some of those problems. I remember as a child seeing problems of police brutality. And this was mainly aimed at Negro children and Negro adults. I can remember also the organization that is known as the Ku Klux Klan. This is an organization that stands on white supremacy, and an organization that in those days even used violent methods to preserve segregation and to keep the Negro in his place, so to speak. Now, I can remember seeing the Klan actually beat Negroes on some of the streets in Atlanta.
But nobody ever beat you personally?
I did have one experience, which was a relatively minor experience, but it still lived with me a good deal. When I was about 8 years old, I was in one of the downtown stores of Atlanta, and all of a sudden someone slapped me, and the only thing I heard was somebody saying, "You are that stepped on my foot." And it turned out to be a white lady. And, of course, I didn't retaliate at any point. I finally went and told my mother what had happened, and she was very upset about it. But at that time, the lady who slapped me had gone, and my mother and I left the store almost immediately.
Can you remember at this distance of time why you didn't respond in any violent way? Was it that you'd already thought of nonviolence, or was it that you just didn't dare as a Negro to take any strong action against a white?
Well, I think probably it was a combination of two things. I hadn't thought of nonviolence at that early age as a system of thought, as a practical technique. I think a great part of it was that I just didn't think I wouldn't dare retaliate or hit back when a white person was involved. And I think some of it was a part of my native structure, so to speak, and that is that I have never been one to hit back too much.
Well, now, that's all, 20 years or so ago, I suppose.
Yeah.
But how bad is the complaint today? After all, the United States has changed a lot. The Negro's rights are protected under the law. What exactly, how much has this system changed between then and now?
Well, it has changed a good deal. It is far from what it ought to be, but I can see many, many changes that have taken place over the last few years. For instance, in the same Atlanta, Georgia, which is one of the largest cities in the South, there are some Negro students in formerly all-white schools. Some of the parks are integrated, some of the public parks. Just a few weeks ago, about 177 lunch counters were open to Negroes on a thoroughly integrated basis. I think I could say also that court injustice is not as glaring a reality today as it was 10 years ago. Police brutality has diminished a great deal. So that in Atlanta alone, there are many changes. And when I look over the total situation, I can say the same thing. For instance, when the United States Supreme Court rendered the decision declaring segregated schools unconstitutional in 1954, 17 states and the District of Columbia practice segregation in the public schools. But today, I would say most of these states have made some move toward integration. Only 3 states are holding out, namely the states of Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina.
Yes.
So that there has been a great change since, say, 1950 or 1945.
Now, I can't help following you up at one point there. You said, I think I'm quoting you more or less verbally correctly, you said that denial of justice was less glaring than it used to be, and that police brutality had, I think your words were, somewhat diminished. Now, it follows from that you're not content that the Negro gets justice in the United States as things are at present, and you're not certain that the police do not victimize him.
Well, yes, I think we have moved on a great deal, but we still face token integration. By token integration, I mean a few Negroes getting justice in a particular situation, but the vast majority still confronting problems of economic insecurity and social isolation. So that while we have moved on, we only have token integration, and the problem now is to move from token integration to overall integration, where it involves more than just a few students in a school, more than just a few lunch counters open, more than gaining justice in the courts in a few situations, but in every situation.